Dana, we had a little pre-conversation a couple seconds ago, and I told you I wish I would have met you 20 years ago because I, like you, had something come up in my life where I looked around and said, you know what? I see a need for something. I think I'll just start a nonprofit.
Well, I really admire folks who have that vision. I don't think I actually had that vision. It's easy to look back now a decade later and be like, that's what happened. But I definitely a decade ago did not have that vision. It was more of an accident.
No, and that's what the most amazing part is. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning because first of all, when you hear those numbers right now about the 47 million donations, 6 million women helped, I mean, that's like staggering numbers. That's like wow, that sounds like gigantic organization. There must be hundreds and hundreds of people on staff. And as someone who formerly ran her own breast cancer nonprofit with about 6 people, I know that is not true. So I want to hear from the beginning how this really got started. And then, along the ways, how you were able to get all of this support to start really building this organization. So, back in the day, Dana, what was going on? Where were these extra bras coming from?
They were shoved in the back of my drawer, and I hadn't realized that I could do something good with them. And I'm somebody who, like a lot of your audience, likes to upcycle, recycle, donate their products to donate their housewares, their clothing, et cetera, to give it another life. And I was doing that with a lot of the items in my life that I was no longer going to be using, but I wasn't opening my bra drawer and grabbing the bras out the back. And after a year and change, I had lost 35 pounds, like very methodically and deliberately, and lost that weight and also was a newish mom at the time. I mean, the kids got older, but um and had breastfed both kids. And so my body had changed shape and things were no longer where they were prior. And I needed some new bras. And so, as you heard from the story, as I was getting fitted for new bras after this weight loss, I had asked the sales associate what I could do with my perfectly good bras, and she said, "Well, homeless women need bras," and I didn't know that. So I went home and realized that I had 16 perfectly good bras that were no longer going to fit me of different styles, whether it was underwire bralettes, sports bras, maternity bras, and they were all clean. But I found a shelter. I went online and found a homeless shelter near me in the Washington, D.C. area that was very eager and in need of some bras, called them and said, I will wash them all again. So they're like really fresh. And what else do you need? And he was the one, the gentleman that I spoke with there said that they also needed maxi pads and tampons, menstrual hygiene products for their women who are coming into their shelter because it was not a budgetary line item. And I mean, now the number's changing, but approximately half of the US states, there is still a tax on menstrual hygiene products, um, making them even further harder to obtain if, finances are a big concern. And so I wanted to do what I could. So I just put it out on my local Facebook page and shared it with some of my local friends in my neighborhood, and my 16 bras quickly doubled and tripled. And then everyone's like, well, I'm going to like the local big box store, or I have a coupon for my preferred, tampons or pads. So I'm just going to pick up an extra package and give it to you. So it started very organically. And I was like, sure. And I'll just drive it all down to the DC shelter that I spoke with. This is no big deal. And so here I am. We're tapping on, like coming at 11 years, it'll be 11 years in July. And actually, well, let me rephrase that sentence because if you're sharing this after July, then you won't have it dated from then. Now that we're over a decade old, I realize that there's just so much we can do. And so it has been quite a journey, Stephanie. It really has been a very wild ride that I didn't anticipate, and a lot of steps and people and resources and time and thought leadership along the way of this decade plus. And so that's where I support the girls is today. So yeah, we're hopefully going to hit 50 million products donated soon. We partner with massive corporations, and we are grateful for still the individual who said, "Well, I had a weight loss. I'd like to donate my bras," or "I understand this the need of menstrual equity and period poverty that you all talk about on Instagram or TikTok. So I want to donate some packages or host a drive at my book club, my sorority, my workplace." And so every tampon matters, every dollar donated matters, and we take it very seriously.
Well said.